You ever hear of the term mechanic used outside of its normal meaning?
Yeah.
Where?
My father used it. It's a dealer. Guy who works game tables.
Anything else?
Sure. It's a shooter. A hitman. So?
So there we are.
And that's your action. Yeah, that figures.
This is the emergency podcast system. This is not a test. Movies are bombing all over the country. They are posing as movies you already know. They may already be in your theaters, your neighbor's home, or even your own. Do not panic. Specialists have been dispatched. They will help you identify these pretenders and defend you against this invasion of the remake. Please stand by for further instructions.
Welcome to the Invasion of the Remake podcast. I'm your host, still, because the Oscar results aren't in, Jason Bishop.
I'm Sam, and I haven't won yet, but I'm gonna.
And back from the sickness is Trish Coughlin.
Hey, everybody.
But you did watch Silent Running.
I did watch Silent Running, because I was like, and I did send you, we were talking about this before, I sent you a text, but it didn't go through.
Yeah, so I would have totally read that out last week on the episode, because we had time.
We did have time, yeah. It was a pretty short, concise episode, yeah.
It runs short when you're not here. I'm sorry.
Oh.
It feels wrong.
It does feel wrong. I do a lot of likes and ums that probably fill up about 20 minutes of time.
Oh, no. Not like me and Sam.
No.
You require the least amount of editing.
No, I'm gonna wait, and I'm gonna listen to it by myself, because I want to be surprised by what you guys did to remake it.
Okay. Wait, you had some ideas that I never actually saw because your text was so damn long it didn't go through.
But it didn't give me the little notice that says, oops, your text didn't go through. So my phone dropped the ball.
Yeah, the phone is to blame here.
Yes.
And it's not an iPhone. So, I mean, because that would just be expected.
Yeah.
From my phone.
Although mine is a very I got to get this one dealt with.
Yeah. Sam just slightly upgraded me recently, and it'll hold me off for maybe a year.
Nice.
Till the next major OS upgrade, and then you'll probably have to replace it. But
Yep. Yeah. But I was sitting in that I wasn't getting more update category, and I was in that iPhone 5C slow down bullshit, and I wasn't happy. But you've got the stuff in front of you, so why don't you give us your thoughts before we get into the mechanic?
Yeah. Well, I watched it. There's a lot of Joan Baez in it. I did notice that. There's a lot of bits where there's just music and stuff happening. That makes it a little longer.
Terrible, terrible music.
I don't mind Joan Baez, but there's a limit. You've got to mix up the folk music. You really do.
Well, and neither of these were her best songs, because I like Joan Baez too, but I did not like either of these songs.
No, she has better work. This is what upset me. But okay, a few thoughts off the top. Exactly. A few thoughts off the top. When I was first watching, I was watching the credits. I'm like, Stephen Bochco helped write this? Question mark exclamation. Mm-hmm. And I think it's kind of hilarious when a sponsor of a futuristic movie is out of business, i.e. American Airlines.
Well, Coke is still around.
True, but American Airlines was really broadly on all of it.
Yes, if only they had branched out into spacecraft like the movie predicted.
They might have been okay.
Yeah.
Then I had, with all the little tags on Bruce Dern, I said he looked like a NASCAR driver.
Who are they advertising to?
I don't know. I think some of those were patches. I think it was sort of like, imagine if the Boy Scouts went crazy and it's not just on a sash. That's what I imagined it to be.
You have to wear this jumpsuit with all of your badges.
Yeah, it's the new Boy Scouts, because it's the future.
Boy Scouts in space!
Yes.
And why do they only have one jumpsuit?
That's another good question.
I don't know. Maybe you don't sweat in space.
Oh, you sweat, from what I hear. You sweat and it's terrible. I don't imagine, they have stuff to clean.
Antimicrobial.
the astronauts can quote unquote clean themselves, but I don't want to be in smelling distance of an astronaut when they first come back. Really don't. And these astronauts really boggled my mind. They were like, real astronauts actually look forward to food when they get back, and these guys are really liking the freeze dried stuff.
Yeah.
Who are these insanos? I don't fucking get it. But I thought it was pretty prescient when the last note, the guy says, like, everyone has a job. Nobody cares. That's exactly it. How true people will let everything burn as long as their little existence is comfortable and act with incredible surprise when their lives are suddenly disrupted by the thing they insisted was okay because it didn't affect them. I have a job, so the world can burn. That's the fine thing.
This is why we missed you last week, because this movie was made for your soapbox.
It is. It is. But I mean, but you have to admit, it's true. When people are comfortable,
Oh, for sure.
It is.
they'll ignore everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And we touched on that a little bit, but not quite as well as you just did.
Yes, very
Thank you.
succinctly.
Yeah, well, I had to put it in text form, and I thought I was being short enough. So that's,
Just not short enough for the phone.
yeah, stupid phone. But I felt bad when Drone 3 died, and when Huey got hurt. I felt bad for Huey.
As I said last week, I don't feel bad for Drone 3. You shouldn't have been out there in the first place.
True, but the other drones were out there. Weren't they?
They were
out
all
there?
dumb.
But weren't they out there doing something?
Yes, but they shouldn't have been because they were going through a freaking Saturn's rings or an asteroid belt or something.
I thought he sent them out there.
Yeah, don't forget he was
Dumb timing.
He was asleep in the alarm when the alarm went off, and he immediately got them to come back in.
Yeah.
Right, so he had given them a task. I'm guessing.
So he killed Drone 3 along with the other three
Unintentionally,
guys.
And maimed Drone 2.
I know.
by running into him.
Oh, and I thought those little buckets that they were driving around in, it looked kind of fun. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. I mean, who hasn't had fun driving a go-kart? Come on.
Yeah, those were like super go-karts where you could just lay back and just have at her. It would be fun.
Exactly.
And I had the pods should have been different ecosystems. That's what I didn't get. They were all roughly the same thing. There should be one rainforest, one prairie, one evergreen like the Rockies, and maybe even a swamp. That was the error.
72.
I know. But I mean, yeah, just it should have been different. If that's what they're trying to
That would have been
conserve.
pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
And it could have added to the whole thing, because I thought maybe one of the guys didn't die, he was just knocked out, which leads to a cat and mouse game you could have in like one of the ecosystems.
I would have liked that, actually.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like, I mean, killing the three gives us complex emotions about the protagonist, but I mean, leaving one person alive, I mean, he could die later, but it would just add more drama to the whole thing. And then maybe have a talking AI, now that we're a little bit more beyond, where the robots are the robots.
You mean like they did in 1969?
Yeah. Yeah. What are you doing, Dave? What are you doing?
And I think that's why they didn't, because the director did work on 2001.
Yeah.
Right, so I don't think he didn't want to be accused of taking too much from 2001.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be surprised if that was a conscious decision not to have a talking AI.
And I thought about, after I wrote this, I thought about it later too, not having the talking AI helps sort of really hit home that he is completely isolated and alone.
Mm-hmm.
Having a talking AI still would give him some company, and that would, I think he should go out a lot more squirrely being alone.
Yeah, true.
And they had an original ending with aliens, which I'm kind of curious about that.
We did talk about it.
Yeah.
Yes. Nice. And I had to keep with the theme of it, I had Laura Dern as Lowell.
Very nice.
And for an AI, I had Angela Bassett be the AI.
Okay, cool.
Sandra Oh was Keenan, and Elias Koteas was Barker, and Gary Cole was Wolf.
Excellent. I like it all.
So
Yes.
that's
I
what
like it all.
I had. It was, I didn't want to be, I wanted to give that to you, and I thought it got to you, but
That's okay.
That's okay. That's why you got to deliver the message.
That's right. That's the silent running addendum. And if you haven't listened to that episode yet, go back to last week and listen to Sam and I's thoughts on that.
Yes.
Because it's cool.
nice.
And we had some fun ideas. I can't wait for Trish to listen to it too, because
Cool.
Yeah.
I think it's ripe for a remake, I think, when you think about it.
it's still very, very socially relevant.
Yeah. Although last week Sam disagreed with me. I don't think this should be remade. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's perfect.
I mean, yeah, like it's a big space movie. There's big themes in it. Yeah, you could probably do it.
Yeah.
And definitely with the technology we have, we could make it. The update would be a lot better, I think.
Now, this week, we're going to be talking about a movie that's kind of the epitome of what we defined the show about way back in episode 0, where we said movies that didn't hit the first time maybe should be looked at again that had a good idea and rethought and remade. The Mechanic from 1972 is kind of one of those movies because it had a budget of $10 million and grossed worldwide $86,000.
Good Lord.
To even call that a bomb, it's almost nuclear.
Yeah, that's like a world ender.
The fact that anybody put Bronson in another movie after this.
I know, and I don't know. It's not. I don't think it's. I don't think it's that level of bad.
And, Michael Winner made I think another 4 movies with Bronson after this.
Mm-hmm.
The director of this movie, he went on to do all the Death Wish movies.
Yeah.
Well, and only the first one, was really a sort of iconic film, I guess is the best way of putting it. The rest were cash grabs.
Yeah, like the first one was going in, and they thought they had a message, but yeah, this one was. The rest of the Death Wishes are.
But we're going to be talking about these separately in the not too distant future.
Yes, we will be talking about Death Wish down the road because the Bruce Willis remake is going to be
this
out
month.
Very shortly.
It comes out in March, so there will be this month.
So yeah, like we've got Bronson.
Might be out by the time you hear this.
Magnificent Seven.
Yes.
And then this one, and then Death Wish. Yeah. Like Bronson's a remake guy.
Yeah, he definitely is. And we had recently covered him, not too recently, I guess, but we talked about him in the Magnificent Seven episode a little bit. This is interesting to see his middle-aged part of his career, and boy, it really feels like he gave up.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say, I said his performance in Magnificent Seven as a younger actor was far superior to his performance in this.
And Magnificent Seven was...
they managed to find... everybody in this cast is way worse than him phoning it in.
Oh my God, Jan Michael Vincent! Like it's like watching an animated mannequin.
Oh, he was hard strictly because he was pretty. Right?
Yeah, he was a good looking man.
Yeah, he's pretty, but yeah, this is okay. Hollywood, pretty doesn't mean I want to watch them do anything.
Now, bafflingly, IMDb gives us a 7 out of 10. The Rotten Tomatoes critic-wise gave it 40%, but the audience was around 66.
Huh. And still 86,000.
Yeah. Whereas the remake was a 6.6 out of 10 on IMDb, 52% critic score with a 51% audience score. So it was middle of the road all the way across the board and not as divisive as this first one. And I guess... sometimes nostalgia just sways the numbers, doesn't it?
It really does.
It really does. Because, to be honest, there's not much to like about the original. There's some really great elements. Like conceptually, it's awesome, but execution was just crap.
Oh yeah, it's slow and melancholic, and
I liked the melancholy. I really did. I even didn't mind the pacing. It's just that the acting was so.
For a thriller, it wasn't that thrilling.
No, but I mean, when we were talking on our last ones at Rollerball, it's that 70s mentality where they'll take their time with things and it sort of feels laggy.
Yeah. Right. See, I love the first 20 minutes of the film where there's no freaking dialogue.
Yeah, first 16 minutes there is nothing. And it's actually a really cool setup. I like seeing Bronson going into a target, just really calmly setting everything up, and it's just this wicked mousetrap. Everything kind of works, and you just got to be patient for everything to click.
Yeah,
he drugs the target with his tea, and
the exact number of tea bags that were left.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
amazing.
He even counted them real quick, and he rigged up the stove to blow the pilot light out to fill the place with gas, and then put an explosive charge in a book right in a window that he could see from his room across the street that he could target with a gun, blow the whole place up, which was also the biggest explosion in a city setting up to that point, done on film, because they had this dilapidated hotel that they blew up.
Nice. I did not know that. That's cool.
Yeah, it was good. It really sets a tone. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna love this movie.
Yeah.
Nope.
No. And you know what? I've realized, because if you even make Magnificent Seven, Bronson did not have that much dialogue. He's great to watch, but as soon as he opens his mouth, he's not he's not very good at delivering lines, but has great screen presence, right? Like when he's not doing when he's not talking, he evokes a lot. Like the scenes where he's alone in his house without saying anything, just the music and the way he moves around the room. You can
Smoking
tell
his pipe.
Yeah, you can tell what he's doing. You can actually tell what he's thinking to a certain extent. But then again, as soon as he talks, then it's like, oh.
I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
Do you have a theory on like why the magic is gone when he speaks? I don't know.
I don't know.
Because he's a little stiff when he delivers the line.
Yeah.
Right? And it worked really well in Magnificent Seven because that was the type of sort of his character. That's sort of that rigid, stiff guy, right? But this character you expect him to have a coldness but not a stiffness.
This really does feel like the early days of like that would eventually have him being in the canon movies, where you could say that with Steven Seagal and Jean-Claude Van Damme. You surround yourself with people who can't act, so you stand out as one of the better ones.
Yes. It's true.
Yeah. What year was Magnificent Seven again? It was 1962, I think.
Oh, go look through our episodes. You'll find out.
Because I'm like, he seemed to have aged a lot between those two movies.
It's probably the facial hair.
I don't know. He just looked a lot
He did,
older.
yeah. It did look like... But he would have probably been 10, 15 years younger in that movie, so...
Yeah, and I mean, he spent a lot of time shooting westerns up to that point, outside in the sun. He had the Clint Eastwood syndrome, right?
Right.
Right. A lot of sun does age you fast.
Yeah, leathers up the skin, gives you that cool squint.
Yeah. And he does have the squint.
He does.
So did Jan Michael Vincent, but he just had it naturally.
Yes.
Yeah, he was just a squinty guy.
Yeah, if you don't remember Jan Michael Vincent...
Airwolf?
Yeah, Airwolf was his claim to fame, at least for my childhood.
That's all I remember from him.
And he was only on there a couple of seasons because...
he was in a really bad movie called Damnation Alley that I really love, but which we should do maybe someday.
And he had some demons.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, he had some demons. So, yeah, the original movie starred Charles Bronson as Arthur Bishop, Jan Michael Vincent as Steve McKenna, Keenan Wynn as the character's father, Harry McKenna, and boy, that was another guy who was phoning it in.
Yeah,
I've
seen him do well.
Wynn, he's really a
yeah. Well,
actor.
we talked about him in Absent Minded Professor episode 107. And this one, it was just like I feel like this movie was every scene was done in one take.
Yeah, like I think that's part of the problem. Like I can blame a bunch of this on direction because it's like, we've got it. No, you don't have it, Michael. You don't.
Yeah, I would blame all of it on direction for the most part. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Charles Bronson's real life wife is Jill Ireland, who was the prostitute in this movie, aka the girl.
Okay.
The girl playing Louise, who was trying to kill herself, commit suicide, and while everybody just sat around and watched.
That was a great scene. I'm sorry, but it was.
It was an
interesting scene.
Yeah. She did this movie, and her other claim to fame is being one of Bill Cosby's accusers, which was a year before... The incident apparently was a year before this movie was shot in 1971, so... yes, Linda Ridgway is one of...
Poor woman.
Cosby's.
That sucks.
Yeah. And
then you end up in a Michael Winner movie.
No wonder she quit acting.
Yeah, the woman has no luck. Shit.
Right? Yeah. Bill Cosby and this.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, she was one of the stronger performances in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was.
She's very talented, but it just...
Well, let's actually take a peek at the trailer here, and we will talk some more about both films.
Yes.
Mr. Bishop, we would like you to go ahead.
There are 1,000 ways to kill a man, and one assassin knows them all.
Murder is only killing without a license, and everybody kills.
But when the best in the business...
There are times when I could use a backup.
...takes on a partner...
I'm going to teach you all I can.
The last hit of his life...
Play to win, do you?
I'm going to pick my own mark.
...could be his own. The Mechanic is a non-stop thrill ride. Charles Bronson. Jan Michael Vincent.
till she goes.
Just about. Now.
Holy shit, that looks like a really exciting movie. I want to see that.
Right?
Yeah, but we didn't.
No, that was literally all the best bits.
Yeah, I know. Like, you could edit a bunch of this movie and make that movie.
That looked really action-packed and awesome. Actually, there's some good action sequences. The motorcycle chase and the guy going off the cliff.
Yeah.
And there's some decent stuff on here when things start going.
Yeah, but everything in this movie was just that smidge too long. The motorcycle chase was just a smidge too long.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah. The car chase at the end, just a smidge too long. Right? Like, everything was just like an extra minute or 2 minutes that didn't need to be there.
Yeah, they linger too long.
Yeah. But we've talked about this before, how those movies in the 70s loved these extended scenes. And the atmospheric scenes, they love their long chases. I mean, you watch French Connection and all those movies. Again, everything's really drawn out.
Yeah.
It's just it's very typical of a 70s film.
Even Steve's girlfriend, who is going to commit suicide. Holy cow, was that a long scene?
It was.
But I think for that scene, it makes sense to have it long because the point of it was they're waiting for her to die. So to have it feel long, kind of.
They were waiting. They weren't waiting for her to die. They were waiting for her to chicken out.
Yeah, but he did say like it'd take a couple of hours. So like the whole point was they are waiting. So I can in that scene it makes sense, but like with action sequences, no, it's supposed to be, you're supposed to be heightened and everything's supposed to be great, but when it goes on too long, that you lose that.
I mean, and that scene's really important. It establishes the coldness of Steve's character. Mm-hmm. His father, Harry, is a friend of Arthur Bishop's. As I rolled that clip at the beginning of this episode, he's the mechanic. A mechanic is an assassin, but the assassin does it cleanly. It makes everything look like an accident or natural causes.
Mm-hmm. Which is like he's the fixer. Which the long bit where he's setting up the guy's apartment. That makes sense because it's supposed to look like something accidental happened. Like, I love those bits where it doesn't have to be completely action-packed, but I was really engaged through that one.
Yeah, and Arthur Bishop would get his assignments through the mail or an envelope delivery to his palatial estate because he's made a lot of money over the years doing this. Yeah, and unfortunately, his next target is his friend, Harry McKenna, which was Keenan Wynn in this movie. And I was unsure what the connection was. Like, I think that was something the remake did better, is to create this plot within the organization as somebody wanted to take over and cover up their double dealings and throw it on to Harry.
So,
I mean, they did establish it that Harry was trying to broker some sort of deal with them, and then they'd cut ties. Mm-hmm. They insinuated that they didn't want to work with Harry anymore. And the only way, and they decided that if he wasn't going to leave him alone, trying to broker this deal, then they just had to get rid of him. That was the feeling I got from it. He was an old horse, and they needed to put him down. Oh,
thank you. That was my question because I was kind of unclear as to how it came to be the next assignment for him because I was like, why is this it seemed out of the blue to me, but
and for the most part, Arthur does it fairly humanely. He still plans it. He still plans it out. He's a professional and rigs it up. And he was actually trying to give him a heart attack in the original.
Yes,
shooting at him, making him run, Harry! He's up over the hill.
Yeah, no, and that was probably the weakest of all of the setups that in the movie was that one. It just felt like they didn't want to even bother trying.
It was way better setting it the way they set it up in the remake.
Yeah,
in his building and getting rid of the guards and making him basically leave his safety.
Yeah. Well, as he says, you've circumvented my security because he knew about it.
Yeah, the only way you could circumvent it is get Harry to do it himself.
Mm-hmm. And it just goes to show how well Harry trained him, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and Harry in the original. He was a friend of Arthur's father. Arthur grew up around Harry, like he was a child with Harry, and there's that great scene about how Arthur's father was totally prepared to let his son
drown,
sink or swim, right? And it wasn't until Harry pulled him out that he was actually rescued, as Harry had to do it because his own father wouldn't do it. So I think they're trying to establish that
Harry's a father figure.
Harry's more a father figure than his own father was. Yes.
Yeah, and they don't quite say it as well in the remake, but yeah, he's more of a mentor to him in the remake. Yeah. But there's still that sibling rivalry where his real son has been neglected for Arthur.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, you can kind of see, it's Arthur's the one he kind of hoped his son would become, maybe in a way. But in the other part of it, you can kind of see how his father left him out of things because he kind of maybe didn't want him to be part of this whole bit. So it's sort of, his neglect had a purpose, but it just wasn't.
Arthur's good at his job because he has a cold detachment. Steve wants in on it. He's cold, absolutely, but he enjoys killing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you get the feeling like when he says, I want to pick my own target and stuff, he's basically saying, I'm going to go out and be a serial killer.
Yeah, he just wants to kill people. He has no regard for any rules or anything else. Like, you're supposed to do this to get paid. It's a job.
Yeah, and he's a good student. Like, he's a natural with the guns and things like that. But when the opportunity to do it cleanly comes up, he won't take it. He wants to do it dirty because it's fun.
Which is dumb.
Yeah.
He almost gets his ass handed to him a couple of times in both movies.
Yeah, he has control issues.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you're looking at the whole thing where his target is looming over him. This is, like he says, this guy is 6'7" and 320 pounds. Good luck, kid.
Yeah, man. The remake, when Ben Foster and that other guy are squaring off. Are you out of your mind?
Yeah. Well, he is. He's a psychopath.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? He's the definition of a sociopath.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he has, psychopath, sociopath. He has no impulse control. Yeah. He just wants to do what he does and doesn't truly believe that he's going to lose this fight. I don't think he thinks that.
No.
Which is dumb.
At no point did I think he thought otherwise.
No. Well, there's a moment there where he's saw this. He's like, he had this, what the fuck did I get myself into look on his face after he's been handed his ass for a little while there. But
he's repeatedly stabbing this guy with that screwdriver. Yeah. And the guy's just on an adrenaline high, just barely noticing.
Yeah, no, he has those moments of realization that he's overdone it or he's overreached, but it doesn't stop him.
Yeah.
Right.
And for a mechanic, this is also a huge problem if he has impulse control issues, because a lot of the stuff you're supposed to do is at times make it look like it's an accident. Now, if you enjoy killing and enjoying the dirty part of it, you can't do that.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Well, that's what gets Arthur in trouble with the organization in the original movie is the job he's supposed to do. He's handed off to his protege and Steve, and it's botched. I mean, Arthur has to go in and finish the job, and they have to do it dirty. And, of course, the organization isn't too pleased with how messy that one went down, and he didn't clear the fact that he's got a protege, and they're very aware of Harry's son. They just had you assassinate this kid's father. Why would they want the kid?
Yeah, and I mean that occurs in both movies, right? Because this one scene we were just talking about with the large mechanic from another organization, it was the messy job that brought Steve to their attention. Right?
Although, I mean, in the original, they pit Steve and Arthur against each other by hiring Steve to kill off Arthur, where it's more of a revenge plot in the remake.
Which I think I liked better in the original. I liked that device a little bit better. It felt more like business, but they talk, and how they saw his protege as his replacement kind of thing, right? So it works really well for me in the original. In the remake, I mean, they talk more about revenge and vengeance, and so they set that up really well.
Yeah,
but I still liked it better in the original.
Jan Michael Vincent's version of the character doesn't really care that his dad's dead. It's not really a big deal. I think halfway through the movie, he already knows who did it. It doesn't really matter to him.
No, because it just speaks to how sociopathic he is.
Yeah, whereas Ben Foster's version of the character in the remake, he's trying to kind of hide that pain. Like, I think it's bringing up a lot of things about his relationship with his father that he just never had. So there's a lot of anger there, and that he wants to take out on somebody and something, and that's the carjacking he sets up.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference between Foster's Steve and Vincent's Steve. Is Vincent played him as a sociopath, whereas Foster was the angry young man with impulse control issues.
And I think he's also looking for his father's approval from beyond the grave.
Yes.
Yeah, so when he finds his father's gun, that cool-ass shiny
Love
gun.
that gun.
Yeah, with it says "Victory loves preparation" on the side of it.
Which when he goes after the carjacker, he's like, "Did you shoot him with this?" I'm like going, "You probably heard about the police report. It's not the same caliber at all. It's a tiny 22. It's not going to do it."
He sets himself up near wherever, thinking that he's going to get the carjacker that did it when it's actually been an assassination. But
which he should have been able to figure it all on his own, given his knowing his father's business.
That was the other bit that blew my mind. I'm like, you knew your father's business, and you think he just died in a carjacking? Come on.
Yeah, bit dumb. Yeah. I did kind of like that he found the gun at Arthur's place.
I love that bit,
and that does get you back on track to have the revenge bit at the end. Protege versus teacher
versus mentor.
Yeah.
No, and I like that bit. I mean, I love the way they kept the note at the end in both movies.
It works better in the original, though.
It does, because there's some ambiguity at the end of that one. Did Arthur really die or not? That was what I liked about that one, is because the note wasn't there when he drove up. So how'd the note get in the car?
Continuity issues.
See, yeah, I kind of thought it was continuity issues, because I think I don't know if you caught this in the remake. It looks like at one point there is a note on the mirror in the remake, and then it goes away, and then it's on the seat. So I'm not sure if that is a continuity issue, but I don't know.
It's almost like he expected from day one, picking Steve as a protege, that he was expecting Steve to try to kill him at some point. Like, he rigged up his record player to destroy the property. He rigged the car to explode because he told Steve never to touch it. So he kind of knew that Steve was never going to listen to him fully.
Well, he knew that
if he did, he'd live.
He knew Steve had vengeance on the brain.
Yeah.
So he knew he'd probably impulse control issues. So he knew he'd find out.
Yeah.
He just sort of expected it.
It works so well in some ways it doesn't. Right? Like I love Ben Foster's performance in this movie.
It's really good. He's a more engaging Steve.
Yeah, for sure. But Ben Foster owns the screen every time he's on it. No matter what you watch him in, even if it's a bad movie, you like Ben Foster.
Yeah, I mean, the original, you really only have 3, maybe 4 characters talking, one of which is mainly on the phone. There is a meet at one point. Yeah. It's, for the most part, you don't see them. So, and Keenan Wyn's gone fairly quickly. So the last 2, they're so emotionally detached. It's even hard for the audience to get into it as well. So you kind of need to have the characters being different in the remake.
Sorry, I was just thinking about something too, and I got miscommunicated. I thought he was in the remake of The Magnificent Seven, which would have made it very bad, but it was 3:10 to Yuma.
Yes.
So my fault.
Yes.
But
which was episode 116 for anybody keeping score.
Yes. Sorry.
The remake from 2011, The Mechanic, was directed by Simon West, who directed the only good Expendables movie, number 2, and Con Air.
As soon as I saw him, I'm like, Con Air.
The screenplay, the original screenplay was by Louis John Carlino. That was pretty much his only credit. And Richard Wank adapted that for this movie.
Wait, what?
Wank. There is nothing wrong with the name Wank. I do not see where your laughter is coming from. Wank.
Sorry.
Do you want me to say it too? Wank?
It's with an E, not an A, an E. Wank.
So it's wanky.
Oh, wank.
Not at the end of it.
It's wank?
Wank.
Wank. Okay.
You said it wank, so...
You said it wank.
It's wank.
Okay. Now that we've got that established. My fault. I'm sorry.
What's wrong with you?
You really put the emphasis on it.
Oh, well, you went for it.
So it was a trap.
Of course it was. It's a trap. He wrote The Equalizer, Expendables 2, and episode 105, the remake of Magnificent Seven.
Oh, there we go.
We come back around.
All the time.
Yeah.
This was budgeted at $40 million. Actually made a little bit of money with a worldwide gross of $76.3 million. And we did get a sequel in 2016 called Resurrection.
Skip it.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I thought about watching it.
So
Man.
No,
promotion,
skip it.
not a big hit at all.
Ironically, Michael Winner did direct a movie called Resurrection that had nothing to do with this one.
Interesting connection, though. That, You know, that's probably why they called it Resurrection.
Yeah, I thought so, too.
Yeah.
Stars
breaking
Jason
even.
Statham as Arthur Bishop. Ben Foster, as we keep mentioning, was Steve McKenna. Donald Sutherland was a great Harry McKenna.
Yeah.
Tony Goldwyn was Dean. He's one of those guys, you know him if you see him, but you might not know him by his name. He was in The Sixth Day with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Ghost.
He's one of those actors where, yeah, he comes up on the screen, but as soon as you see him, you're like, there's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Every time, because he's done it so many times.
And we previously covered Jason Statham and Donald Sutherland in episode 91, The Italian Job.
Which also kind of goes to the thing, Donald Sutherland has sort of cornered the market as this father figure that runs sort of a group of people doing illegal stuff and is betrayed and killed in the first act.
It's become a career path, hasn't it?
It has.
Somebody should meme that.
Donald Sutherland, I'm going to be betrayed and killed in the first act.
Loving, trusting mentor killed and betrayed in the first act.
Yep.
Jeff Chase was that big burly guy Burke that Ben Foster had the fight with, by the way. And you can see him in the first Escape Plan. And I say the first because there are already 3 of them, and I did not know.
Whoa. Really?
Right? They're just cranking those things out, and I'm like, I haven't even seen the second one. I didn't even know it was done.
The escape plans are escaping from the studios faster than we know that they're escaping.
Minnie Anden was Sarah, which I think was the prostitute.
She's the only female, really.
Yeah.
So it has to be her.
Yeah, that's true. And she gets very naked. Very, very naked.
Very naked.
It's a pause-worthy moment, though.
I did like the bit when
Speaking
she
of wank.
yeah, speaking of wank.
Yeah, I had a good Richard Wank over that one.
Well, I love the bit when she talks to him. She's like, I don't even know your name. And he says, Arthur. And then she looks at him, you don't look like an Arthur, you look like a Dave or a Brad. And I'm like, there's no way in hell Jason Statham looks like a Dave or a Brad.
See you later, Brad.
Like, he doesn't look like a Dave or a Brad at all. He is an Arthur. Like, I can see it.
Yeah. If you're paying attention to this movie, too, you get to see Simon West impaled by the garbage truck. Oh. That was him. Yeah, he was the driver.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good to know.
There you go.
Good on him for putting himself in his own movie and killing himself.
Yeah. I like it when people do that. It's fun.
That sounded wrong. I'm not an advocate of that at all.
Well, no, it means you have a sense of humor about yourself, or at least I hope that's what it means.
Yes, I'm an advocate of directors making fun of themselves as much as some actors do.
Well, consider how over the top his action movies are. Con Air and Expendables. This is actually remarkably subdued for him.
Super restrained.
Really, and super restrained for Jason Statham, because a lot of his stuff feels very samey. Like, doesn't really matter what movie you're watching. It's just Jason Statham doing his thing.
Yeah, and that's why I say skip Resurrection, because it is more like those direct-to-video ones he was doing for a while there, and is still doing as far as I know. But I mean, he's really popular as an action actor, but he doesn't get the right scripts. Because in Expendables, he's a different character. Like, you can see that he's actually capable of more. And there's
Spy. He's amazing in Spy.
Amazing in Spy. And then there's a British action film he did where it was much more low-key. It still had the action scenes, but his character actually had character.
Well, Snatch.
Yeah, the
He's
very,
Snatch.
very dialogue-driven movies.
Yeah.
Those, like Snatch and Lock, Stock.
Yeah.
And he's terrific in both of those. So.
Absolutely. He can do more, guys.
Yeah.
But it's because he's like a very physical actor. Like, he's very good at physical, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of directors like to use him physically, right? Forgetting that he can actually act.
But also, like, in Spy, when to use that hard man character for humor, so good.
Yeah. And even Italian Job, which we already talked about, I mean, his character is quite funny. And he's definitely not a very physical character. He's a driver.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also one of his stereotypes, as being a driver.
Yeah, it is.
Transporter.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, these two versions of Arthur Bishop are kind of different. Like, I feel like Charles Bronson is the more patient planner. Statham's version does like to get in there and handle things a little more personally, because that opening scene where he's killing the Colombian drug lord, he's right in there. He is very patient. He's waiting in the pool. He knows that.
But his setups aren't as elaborate.
No, they're not as elaborate. He basically drowns him in the pool, and I love the bit where he makes it look like he's still swimming while he's dead.
Yeah.
So as the guards from above don't.
He's
think
puppeting.
wrong.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, he's a very different one. And I don't get the same sense of loneliness from Statham's Arthur as I do from Bronson's.
Well, they try to set it up because that's what the prostitute's for. Yeah. Like, he's got a regular prostitute, and then I think there's a bit of a weird relationship there. Like, they see each other regularly, where Bronson kind of wants her to set up this elaborate girlfriend kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's more the setups in the girl picking him up at the bar situation in the remake, but it's still his regular girl.
Yeah.
I don't know. It shows that he yearns for something a little bit more, but knows this lifestyle won't support that.
Yeah, I think
so. It's his moment to pretend.
Yeah. The original, you feel that Bronson truly yearns for like a connection, and he knows you can't, so he's like, nope.
Yeah, he's accepted that, so this is as close as he can get.
And that's how he gets sucked into this relationship with Steve, with his protege, is because he like most people, he needs somebody.
Yeah,
right.
The original film script actually had a lot of gay undertones or overtones, even that there was a much deeper connection between those two. That does change, and I mean, in modern times with the remake, they could have easily done that. I could see where there were a lot of people they were trying to pitch the movie to who wouldn't want to do it in 72. I can certainly see
for sure
where that would not be something anybody'd be eager to hop onto.
Even now, still, even in 2011, it would be hard.
Yeah, in 2011, even I guess even now you probably could have done that, and I think it would have been a much deeper movie for it.
It would have been. Yeah,
the way I see it is if you refer to our Oscar episode a couple of weeks ago. It's Call Me By Your Name with guns.
Yes.
That's what that movie needed, because it's so boring.
And you could have, it would also be part of the whole thing where that relationship is there because Harry had sort of disowned his son probably for being homosexual, doesn't know anything about Arthur. You could totally have that bit where that's there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could have totally seen John Michael Vincent doing that. They do, I guess, with that one assassination when they rope in the 6 foot, 300-pound assassin.
Yeah. I think that's where they put that.
They basically use Ben Foster as bait. Yeah, because that dude liked
like young men.
Yeah, so and maybe that was an homage to the original script in some way.
Maybe, yeah.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, they weren't as afraid of gay subtext or even overtones in the 70s as people think they are. I mean, look at Cruisin' with Al Pacino.
But not a very but that
not
whole
not
thing
the best example because but they're
sort of demonizes some like the homosexual sub.
it does, and there's a lot of uproar about it. But there are other movies that deal with it in a more delicate manner. Right? But I think the problem is when you get somebody like Charles Bronson in a role like that,
they're not going to do it.
They're not going to do it.
No.
And the same with this one. When you get somebody like Jason Statham, I'm sure that he'd be comfortable with it, but I don't think that movie-going audiences who go to see a Jason Statham movie would be. He does appeal to a very specific demographic, right?
And I think, but the thing is, I think he would probably be game to do it, but you'd have a studio saying, we can't have you do this.
And Ben Foster would have totally done it.
Yeah, Ben Foster totally would have, but and I'm sure that Statham's agent's going, hell no, that's not your brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they both would have probably been fearless with it. I think it would have been interesting.
I think it would have been probably a groundbreaking movie for its time if they had gone that way, because let's face it, you spent $10 million on the original and didn't even make $1 million of it back, so
you didn't even make 100,000 of it back.
Why the fuck not why
not go hard or go home?
Yeah, like what else can you lose at this point? The 5 people that went.
Yes.
Exactly. Well, I don't know, I think probably going in they're like, this is going to be amazing, it's going to make millions. Nope.
No.
It should have, though. For its time, it was still...
Bronson was big, but I don't know if he actually was big until Death Wish came out. Like, I think he was going through a really, weird career slump at this point.
He was. I mean, and I don't recall Bronson ever really being a leading man until the Death Wish movies.
No.
Yeah.
He was always sort of like the secondary or
He's that
tertiary
guy in
character.
that thing.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Because he was always in ensemble stuff. Right. I think this. I don't know for sure, but this may have been one of his first leading roles.
No, I don't. I mean, I think he'd had been doing them for a little bit at this point, for a couple of years anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just searching for where he would fit.
Yeah.
And it was sort of the not mostly nonverbal leading man is sort of where his genre was, but hadn't been there yet.
Yeah, and I mean, when you have when you're competing against somebody like Clint Eastwood who does the non-verbal leading man character so well, you've got that challenge, right? Is you've got two of them, and you have one who's really well known already, and you have one who's maybe not quite as well known.
Well, it's where you see these actors who look sort of similar, and you're like going, "Oh no, that guy's getting all the roles for that guy." And the other person isn't. Well,
I mean, we'd see those action career paths through each generation. I mean, the Schwarzenegger era where it was Stallone and Schwarzenegger sitting on top. Yeah. And then it was the Van Dammes and the Seagals and the later years of Chuck Norris sitting below that.
Straddling the...
Picking up the crumbs of what's left.
Yeah.
Oh, and I guess you would have had Mel Gibson on the top there, too.
In his own verbal. Weird way,
yeah. And Bruce Willis came into that group late.
Mel Gibson's sort of the fast-talking, much verbal action hero. Him and Bruce Willis, I think.
Yeah,
it's a different.
Yeah, they're very different guys, but you know, there's you have your guys on top, and then you have your guys in the middle, and then you have your Michael Dudikoffs.
Yes.
Michael Dudikoff.
Maybe we'll do American Ninja one day.
We have to. I had a whole Michael Dudikoff thing for a while. Don't know why.
We got to dig so deep on that.
I don't. It's American Ninja was at the local video store, and there was a very small selection.
Well, I'm going to run the trailer for The Mechanic 2011 because I just realized I haven't done that yet, and we'll talk a little bit more about the movie again.
Yeah, instead of everything else.
Yeah.
What I do requires a certain mindset. I do assignments, designated targets. Some jobs need to look like accidents. Best jobs are the ones nobody ever knows you were there.
I know I'm better than you know. You're a damn machine. Someone to watch your back.
This wouldn't be about Steven, now would it? He's your son.
Damn disappointment. Always has been, always will be.
Harry McKenna sold this company out.
There must be a mistake.
You know how this company works, Mr. Bishop. He had to be removed.
Sorry about your father.
It was a loss for both of us.
I want to know what you know. Go online. It's all on the internet. But I don't want to read it. I want to do it. Follow me. You know what a mechanic is? A hitman. Time to take your training to the next level. So what's the plan now? Time to finish the job. Pretty impressive, huh?
Those were my best teams. Guess I'll have to send more.
Save the fuel. We're coming for you.
You think you can get to me before I get to you?
I already have. Do it.
That looked like a pretty good movie, too.
It was a pretty good movie. It definitely not an epic action film, but it was pretty good. But listening to the trailer reminded me of something that really did bug me about it. We already talked about how powerful that opening scene was in the original because there was no dialogue. It was just slowly saw the setup. Mm-hmm. Right? At the beginning of this one, you have Jason Statham doing a voiceover explaining what he does. Right? And Bronson has that same bit of dialogue in the original, but he's explaining it to Steve. So I don't know why they felt it necessary to do that at the beginning of this movie. Like, I hate it when directors assume that their audience is stupid.
Or studios do.
And
I'm betting that was a studio note.
Yeah, it's unnecessary. Your audience isn't stupid.
At least the way they handled it, like you're explaining it to the character,
yeah,
and thus the audience. As a voiceover, it feels a little more.
Hey, stupid.
Hey, stupid.
Yeah.
Hey, stupid.
Yeah, that's
this is what's going on. Hey, stupid.
They should have said, like, okay, so, like, there's this guy, and he's, like, an assassin. By the way, did we mention that you're sitting in an action movie? We thought we should tell you that.
Yeah, it really did feel like a hey, stupid. And it's one of the few things that I really didn't like about the remake is that opening bit. It was nowhere near as effective as it was in the original.
Yeah, like if you could get rid of that and just like turn off the audio for the first part of the movie, see how it feels.
Well,
without that in there, it probably would feel good.
The setup at the beginning is kind of explanation enough, and if you're explaining it to Steve anyway, then you don't need to do it again and again and again.
No.
No, and that was my one of my few beefs about the remake.
Because you have the voiceover at the beginning, and then you have the conversation they have with the dog pound.
Yeah.
So you're doing it again.
Yeah. So it definitely. Well, that's the rule of threes.
Rule of threes are for jokes. It's not for explanations unless somebody's particularly stupid.
Trust me. Once you know the rule of three, there's a whole lot of them in movies, whether you want them or not. It's just, oh yeah. By the way, this is what he does for a living.
Yeah, and again, that comes down to studios dumbing things down for audiences, and sometimes it's necessary, but more often than not, it offends me. Right? I think I'm smart enough to figure out what's going on.
Exactly. Like you don't need to do too much. But then there's the odd movie where I'm like, what the hell happened?
Yes.
But I kind of enjoy that because then I can try and figure it out with my friends
on podcasts like this.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And the only other thing about the remake that really bothered me was the lack of subtlety in his hits versus the ones in the original. Aside from there's the one that wasn't quite so subtle with the motorbike chase and all that stuff. It wasn't as subtle as some of the other ones.
Yeah,
well, that's because it went wrong.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
yeah. Well, they're also trying to make the hits a little more action packed for the audience, rather than the slick, really clean, quiet kills that Bronson was doing.
But they do. There's one.
Well, maybe not so quiet.
Not so quiet.
Big explosions aren't so quiet, but at least he makes them look very natural and accidental. And he's so far away from the scene most of the time.
Yes.
Well, the one with the cult leader was a sequence I really enjoyed because that was where you get to kind of. It's supposed to be a subtle kill, but then they get like a monkey wrench in the whole thing where the guy's taking ketamine.
Yeah, they're basically going to drug this guy and
they're going to give him
adrenaline. Yeah, because they want to fake a heart attack, and when they treat the heart attack, they're going to inject him with something else, an epinephrine, which will kill him in combination with the adrenaline. Yeah.
Which is subtle.
But this cult leader is a drug addict, and so the ketamine just throws the whole plan askew, and they're hiding behind this mirror.
Yeah, and so they're trying to figure it out. So they go in, and they wait a little bit. He's already drugged up enough. So all they have to do is make it look like he choked.
Yeah.
Which is still a more subtle way of doing it. And the way it kind of goes off the rails is just a tiny little bolt.
The little bolt falls to the ground and through the grate. Somebody's got to go check it out. And it's a pretty good scene.
Yeah, it is quite a good scene. But again, it also
they have to shoot their way out.
Yeah, it also speaks to Steve's impulse control, right?
Yeah,
right. Yeah. But at the same time, Arthur's not stopping him.
No. Well, I mean, he's holding back for a good long while until they're like remove the mirror, and the gig's up when they say remove the mirror. Once the mirror's down, it would have been up over anyway. Yeah. So at least get the jump on them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that works out. It was because things just went wrong. So the action sequence is the one that makes sense out of all of them. It's like it's not a subtle hit.
Yeah,
it could have been.
It could have been, yeah, and that's the one that goes wrong. Yeah, as you said, right? Like much like the motorcycle chase one, just handled a little bit differently. So it does work. It's probably the most subtle of the hits in the remake.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right? Whereas, you are
right.
You do see Arthur in the original. He does see it more as an art form, and he really takes pains to ensure that that it is really subtle. That it's something that's not going to be investigated.
You know what I need? I need to see Arthur Bishop coming down the hallway of the Continental in John Wick 3.
Ooh. That would be good. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jason Statham, just one day of shooting. That's all we need.
Just need a cameo. Link these movies up. No, well, these ones aren't so good, so never mind.
No.
But I'd like the nod.
Is he the mechanic or the transporter? We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, you could just have him and leave people guessing. Which one of these characters is he?
Yeah, right?
He's Jason fucking Statham. He's all of these characters.
He's doing the Jean-Claude Van Johnson where he's an action star who's actually a hitman.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like it. They should do that. Anybody listening, make sure that this happens.
There you go.
Please help us.
Just a fun little Easter egg for us. We don't need him to become like the villain and then the hero of Fast and the Furious.
No, we just want a little bit.
The most ludicrous.
Yeah, because that's another character he could be.
They're two different people.
Jason fucking Statham. T-shirt.
Exactly. Jason Statham, which one is he?
Jason fucking Statham. I like it.
It's nice. But yeah, it's sort of, when we were talking about the 7.2 being a product of its time, you were allowed to have those kind of subtle kills. But yeah, unfortunately, in 2011, and you have Jason Statham in it, you can't do too many of those subtle ones. That's the unfortunate part.
It's true. Yeah, it's always,
there's an expectation that comes with that.
Yeah,
they wouldn't let it happen. Studio wouldn't do that.
Not his brand, right? That's the problem. Is it should be. He's capable of far more.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, he didn't even start out as an action star. He started out as in the Guy Ritchie films, which are far more dialogue driven.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, they're like heist films.
Yeah.
He ends up in action when he doesn't want to be in those films.
There was something that bothered you about.
Oh, yeah, the original one, I was checking in and out, because sometimes it was, like you say, some of these things are long. But when he's explaining stuff to Steve, it was this whole philosophical stuff he was trying to talk about that was just, is like, year one trying to justify bad behavior type of bullshit. Like, is like, well, no, it's about rules. You have to have rules and like a code, and I don't do it. Like, I couldn't get my head around it. It was just bugging the crap out of me.
Well, they were killing a lot of bad people for the most part.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like somebody had written, you know, when you sometimes hear dialogue in a movie and somebody is writing it and they're like, oh, I just have to put this in a movie. And then they'll just construct a movie around it so somebody can say their bullshit. That's what that felt like.
Well, yeah, there's a line in the remake that I think is a bit of a nod to that, just condenses all of that into one good line. Good judgment comes from experience, and a lot of that comes from bad judgment.
And that's a much better way of putting it.
Yeah.
But he had this whole thing about like the theory of, I do a job, I have rules, it's not for everybody, but I serve a purpose in life.
Well, and they make it, especially in the first one, they make it sound like you have to be a very specific type of person to be able to do the job.
I think they're trying to establish that it requires discipline, which Steve does not have.
Yeah.
No. He just wants to kill people. Yeah. Just become a killer, Steve.
It's the only thing you see him excited about, like at the beginning after his father's death, and he gets the ride back to the house, and all of his friends are trashing the joint and having a big house party that he seems to be unaware of and doesn't care about. He even says, I'm like, I don't even think I like my friends very much.
Yes.
How does he know these people?
And then they just leave them to destroy the house anyway to go watch somebody commit suicide.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, when I talk about it, it's a dumb movie.
Yeah, that scene seems completely weird.
Yeah.
Well, it does seem weird, but again, it's all about showing. The only things that work well for showing Steve's character, because Jan Michael Vincent didn't do it.
Oh,
he didn't,
there you go.
No.
Right. But that scene served that character very well.
Well, and I think he's showing that he's the uncaring, entitled kid.
Yeah.
So all these people are attaching to him because his family's rich.
Yes.
And it's not like they like him; they're just taking advantage of him.
Exactly, right? And
I think he's aware of that.
Yeah, he's very aware of that. And that's where that line you're talking about, where he says, my father didn't like my friends very much, and I don't think I do either." Right? I mean, that's a really great line when you think about it.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I think the scene serves the character very, very well.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, yeah, it gives Charles Bronson to look around and be like, who are these weirdos?
Yeah.
Now, in the remake, when the similar scene after the funeral, well, they don't really have the funeral. He's at the gravesite, and Arthur's there, and Steve asks for a ride back to the house, family house, and it's tossed. Like so it makes it look like a party did happen at some point.
Yes.
or it's
See, it looked like it had been broken into.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It looked more like it was broken into and rummaged through. And considering who Harry was attached to,
I thought that's what happened.
Yeah, the organization was probably taking whatever they could that might implicate.
I didn't get that at all.
I don't know what was happening.
I think that Steve had a fit of rage and trashed the place.
Yeah.
That's because, they're talking about his anger all the way through the movie, how angry he is, and I think that
and he doesn't really take care of the place because he knows it's all going to get sold off.
Yeah, well, he did it later when he shoots it up.
Yeah.
So I think that the damage was foreshadowed that scene where he starts shooting up the place. I think that his rage at the death of his father was what caused that damage.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, to me it was just the way it was done. Yeah. If he was going to trash it, I'd expect more artifacts in the house to be trashed, but what it looked like was a lot of papers and paperwork were scattered about, which made me think that they were looking for incriminating evidence. Like what they should have done, just as a set-wise thing, is what they should have done is trash more of the art, more of everything else to make it seem like that.
That's also explained in the scene prior, where Steve's talking about how they're going to foreclose on the house, there's no money. So he'd gone through his father's paperwork and found that he's got nothing. Mm-hmm. Right? And which would also explain the paperwork being thrown around.
He thought he even had the car, which gets towed too.
Yes.
So.
Right. So he's left with nothing. And I think that's where that is all set up. I think there's a scene missing that they got cut out.
That could be it. Yeah, they
right?
should have put that in.
Yeah, but I think that where it explains how he found all this information out right before his father's funeral. And that would explain the damage to the mess in the house as he threw these papers around when he found out there was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just wasn't clear.
Yeah. No, and I think that they shot that scene before they cut it, before they cut the other one. I was like, well, we can't just reshoot it because of all the papers. Hopefully nobody will notice.
We did.
We noticed.
We noticed everything. Just like he should have noticed that note in the passenger seat. I don't know when you get into cars, if I see a mysterious piece of paper, I'm going to pick it up and look at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and he does, right? I mean, he's starting to...
way too late.
Yeah, well, that's so that he wouldn't blow up in the carport.
Yeah. Actually, I want to go back to that scene briefly where he was killing the assassin. Steve was killing the assassin in the big fight. There was a target prior to this where they rig it as autoerotic asphyxiation.
Oh, yes, that was awesome.
And that, I think, is what triggers Steve to ignore the whole let's just dope this guy up and kill him one of these down.
With drugs.
Yeah, with drugs. Let's overdose the fucker. He just remembers that. You can see he's remembering that within the film, and he wanted to do that. He wanted to have the more violent kill and watch him thrash about.
Yes, yeah, and he ends up getting it with the cult leader, right? Because he's choking him with the camera, which, I mean, great improvisational skills.
Sure.
Yep, but still. Yeah, he just didn't want to do it the right way. Yeah. But yeah, it sort of shows to like he wants to kill somebody.
Yeah, because he needs to express his anger. Like, again, he's not the same sociopathic character that Jan Michael Vincent was. This is just an angry young man with very violent tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but there's a bit of
homicidal maniac in him.
Yeah. He's not just an angry young man. He's got some problems. Yeah. He's got to talk to somebody.
Yeah. Well, he don't get to.
No, he doesn't.
He gets exploded.
But in the original, I did enjoy like the ending part where the car explodes. I mean, he does get in and notice the thing on the mirror, but by that point, he's triggered it by closing the door. To me, that seems more of a cleaner way, like it would have happened. Like you get in a car and close the door, you might not notice that paper.
But the thing is, did he not drive that car up in the first place?
He took a taxi.
Oh, okay, that explains, because that was the one thing that I didn't...
No, they were coming back from an assignment, so the car was there.
Yeah, for some reason I must have blinked because I thought he'd driven the car up. That was where one thing I did miss, apparently.
Oh, yeah, no, I remember getting out and like paying the guy. I'm like, oh, okay, so now he's back, because it took me a while to figure out that he wasn't at his own house. Yeah. That's the only reason I was paying attention there.
Yeah, in both movies, he moves out of his father's house and in with
Arthur,
Arthur, which... does kind of move in. You can see where some of the stuff in the scripts, the original idea for the script, still is intact a little bit.
Yeah.
As their relationship becomes closer.
Yeah, and you have the tiny little training montage.
Yes. And I mean, in both movies, you almost get the feeling that Arthur takes Steve in partly because Steve's father was Arthur's own mentor, right? So he's returning the favor.
Well,
there's a certain sense of that.
A bit of guilt.
Yeah, exactly. I think guilt is also among that as well. He just killed this kid's father, who was a friend of his as well, and has a bit of responsibility to kind of guide this young man, apparently in completely wrong direction of where people should go, but whatever. And I mean, he's approaching middle age too. He realizes he's going to be replaced or need to step away from this business at some point soon.
And he's always constantly got a plan for it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, when we're talking about getting rid of Harry, it seems like he knows that in this business you are retired, but not in the nice way where you get to go.
Yeah, you don't get to just leave.
No, not unless you plan it very, very well. Right?
Yeah.
Which he has done.
Now, which ending do you like better? Do you like Arthur dead or not dead?
I like the ambiguity of the first one.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, because I mean, when I saw...
it feels pretty final.
It feels...
it does feel very final, but it's still ambiguous enough.
Because he's prepared for pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's sort of like when he... In the original, when he was introducing him to that particular wine, it felt like he knew he was trying to lead him down that path where like, oh, they only make it here. I will only ever have it here. Yeah. Just putting that little bug in his ear.
Well, he's always looking for patterns in his targets, and that's something he's trained Steve to do as well. And he doesn't have a lot of patterns. In fact, there was the girl that they were supposed to tail, which just winds up being a setup from the organization, but that didn't have any patterns.
Yeah.
That kind of hints as to what Steve's doing as well, because he's researching Arthur. And trying to figure out that quiet way, and in a way honoring his mentor by doing it his way.
Yeah.
The one time.
Yeah. So, there's an ambiguity there. And I mean, there's the satisfaction of knowing that this killer may be dead. I mean, I think especially in 1972, the idea of somebody like Arthur getting away with what he was getting away with, for him to not get away with it in the end, it's quite satisfying to that particular generation of audiences too.
Yeah,
right?
That's kind of almost an unwritten rule where, you might be the center point of this film, but you're not a good person, and you need to pay just as much as the villain of the movie does.
But I also like the satisfaction that even though he's dead, he still wins.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that idea. Where this young kid is like going, you think you might know a bunch of stuff, kid, but you don't know all the tricks.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed knowing that the remake actually had a sequel, because if they would have just left it with the explosion at the gas station, I would have been like, okay, they had enough balls to do that, and maybe use that footage from the security cam seeing him roll away from the vehicle at the last minute. I might have just actually saved that for the sequel if you're going to do it, rather than just have that.
We're going to have a sequel.
It is. It's just announcing it, and
again, dumbing it down.
Because if the movie isn't successful, then it stands alone. It sits fine.
Yeah,
and when you have it, I kind of that ending part, like you can tell he feels bad about Harry. He was played by these guys. He feels shitty. He's like,
angry.
I killed my friend.
Yeah,
and if he dies in the explosion, it's sort of like he's so well prepared and so intelligent. So it sort of feels like he's like, this is on me, and I get it.
Yeah, that whole movie is because he was manipulated into killing his friend for somebody else's mistakes. Which I'm guessing Resurrection deals with that aspect. Oh, I guess he kills Dean anyway in this movie, but there's a whole organization there that's manipulated him.
You don't want just don't watch it. Don't even talk about it. It doesn't exist as far as I'm concerned. It's that bad.
What I could think of, which would be interesting to me, is
there's going to be no Mechanic 3.
No Mechanic 3.
I hope not.
With Harry, when they're having that conversation, he's like, "Oh, this is what happened in Cape Town." Like he knows what went down, and he could easily tell him the deal. But he doesn't. So in my head, I had this whole other story where Harry knew what was going on, and he knows if he sacrifices himself, that he'll go back, that Arthur will come back and take care of this guy who's gone completely rogue in their business.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I had going on in my head, but I could just be making another movie going.
In the end, it did, and if it was Donald Sutherland that made Arthur the man he was, then why not?
Yeah,
you know, the one last master plan of his.
Like he knows he'll do it.
He's going to kill me regardless. Like I'm glad.
So I'm going to load the gun and point it in the right direction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like how he actually takes a few shots with his gun and says, "Well, I'm going to alter the script a little bit because I don't want to make it look like I went out like a pussy."
Yeah.
And I love that bit. But the other bit too is like I've never shot that gun. That was a really cool bit.
Yeah. For a guy in his line of business, he never shot that gun.
No, it was, and the gun was cool with the saying in Latin and in English.
Yeah,
right? And and it also sets up why Arthur would keep it too, right?
Yeah,
right.
So it shows that he does have sentimental attachments.
Yes.
Yeah.
But to my understory where Donald Sutherland knew it was going to happen, it also puts together my theory that he was also prepared. And he got victory from beyond.
I like it. Makes the movie better.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Neither of the movies are good movies. They're both of them have.
They're middle of the road.
Yeah, they're middle of the road with lots of potential.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're an enjoyable Saturday afternoon. I want to watch something a little mindless.
And that's kind of what it was. I did watch the second one, the remake, on a Saturday afternoon.
Nice.
And it kind of works.
Exactly. Yep. It's like those on TBS where they put that was the action movie 3 to 5.
Watching these, I'm like, which one's better? Which one's worse? And I have a tough time with that one.
As do I.
Yeah.
This is kind of like, well, you didn't really make anything better. The acting's better.
Yeah.
See, that's why I lean more towards the remake, because the acting is better, but the ending I found supremely disappointing. So I'm still torn.
They both have their merits. I would put them on almost at a tie, right? Because the acting is so bad and it's so drawn out in the original that it loses points there for me. But the remake, because it doesn't add anything, and it does have that dumbed down ending, it kind of balances out the movies for me. But I give a slight edge to the original just because of that opening scene.
Okay,
that's my opinion.
My opinion, don't watch either one of them.
Ultimately, yeah.
Ultimately, just skip them. We did it. It's fine. You're good. We've watched worse, though.
We've watched much
gosh,
worse.
We have watched way worse.
This is phenomenal compared to some of the other stuff we had to watch.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we've actually been on a bit of a roll lately. I mean, Starlight Running was a really enjoyable watch. These were not unbearable to watch.
No, I mean, 2018 so far, we've done pretty good, I think.
Yep.
You know?
So we're due. Oh, no.
No, we're good because we're rolling into next week. We're going to start. This is Sam's idea.
This is my idea.
This is my idea.
Okay.
I had a pick for my birthday movie.
Okay.
You had two.
I had two. And Sam was like, ooh, damn. Why not both? I'm like, but we have to split them up. He's like, well, then we could just make a month of it. And I'm like, okay, executive privileges.
So Jay gets a birthday month this year.
Which could be kind of embarrassing if I lose the Oscars and somebody else is introducing.
Ooh, does this mean I get two of mine? I'm waffling.
Okay.
Yay. 2018's double birthday.
Sam's got to wait a while for his now.
But it's double birthday year.
Double birthday
year, but you guys are going to be excited with what I got lined up, at least the 2 remake episodes.
Yep.
I'm still deciding the other ones, but...
Well, I know at least one of my remakes, one of you will be very, very happy with.
Which one?
I'll tell you later.
Okay, off air.
Yeah, no,
it might be both, but I'm pretty sure one.
When you were texting me, I'm like, fuck making a decision, do them both.
Why not? I'm down for anything. It'll be
fun.
So
you guys are going to be really happy with the next 4 weeks. I hope, but if you got any other Charles Martin movies you want us to cover, let us know. We are at Invasion Remake on Twitter, Invasion the Remake on Instagram and Facebook, and invasiontheremake@gmail.com. Send us your ideas, your challenges, or if you just want to chit-chat, we'll do that too.
Ooh, and can I ask another question too? Like we found out in this episode that Donald Sutherland has made a role of being the person who is a mentor for illegal activity and dies in the first act. Are there any other actors you can think of who have like cornered the market on a particular character like that? Because I'm sure there's a few.
Yep, I'm sure there is.
I'm sure. I want to know.
Lots of them.
We're stumbling across this phenomenon as of now, so maybe we'll find some more. But our audience can point us in the right direction.
For sure.
I have another one. I just thought of one. Jeffrey Lewis. Everybody knows Jeffrey Lewis. He was in the Every Which Way But Loose movies as Clint Eastwood's brother.
Oh, yeah.
Juliet Lewis's father.
Yes. Now I know.
And he played, he cornered the market on a very particular type of role. He was a slightly goofy sidekick.
Slightly goofy sidekick. Wasn't he the guy, there was the one movie where he had flies attached to him and he kept threatening to poison the town well?
Probably.
I'll find the movie, but it's burned in my brain because I think that's just funny. It's like a southern quirky comedy movie.
But is it worth doing?
It might be.
Okay.
It might be. I'll find it out. Oh, I have another one too. Her first name's Robin. I can't remember her last name, but she was in Empire Records and The Craft. And she's
Robin Tunney.
Robin Tunney, formerly suicidal women who have cut their wrists. She's done that in a number of movies, and I think it's a TV show.
Good God, that's a weird part of the market to corner.
Yeah, because didn't she do that? Wasn't she in the Arnold Schwarzenegger
End of Days?
End of Days.
Yeah,
and she was the same character, wasn't she?
Well, no, I think that was...
I'm mixing her up with the other...
No, she was in there, but I think that was a self-sacrifice thing, which is different, but still, slitting your wrists. Yeah. It's a thing. I don't know why Robin Tunney does those roles all the time, but she is.
So, there we go. 2 more.
We know there's more, guys. We know you know. But it's weird. There's, like, patterns that develop in a person's career.
Wow. I don't know. We're stumbling on a whole weird subgenre thing that's happening that I don't know what to even make of.
Either, but as we come across them or as you come across them, please let us know.
Yeah. Another thing you can do is help out the show by telling your friends, your family, the dog across the street. I don't care. Just spread the word of the invasion of the remake. Tell them where to find us. You already know how. But we are on a ton of podcast platforms. We are, of course, on iTunes and Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Player FM, TuneIn Radio, Spreaker, Blueberry, and
frickin' YouTube.
Nice. Good to have you back, Trish.
I'm here.
It sounded really weird last week.
I
can probably see that. Yeah, we need the harmony.
Yeah.
We'll get to singing it one day.
We probably. Yeah, Jay and I redid it last week so that Jay could do it with me.
Nice.
That's right. Yeah, because I realized just Sam doing it just felt empty and sad.
It's not like the slow clap in movies. It doesn't sort of gain traction.
No.
That was terrible.
Yes, because we aren't teenagers and we're not in a hokey teen comedy.
Yeah. Nobody's just made a dramatic speech about everybody is different and we should all love each other and we can fit in, but we're different.
Well, we've just wrapped up an entire genre. I'm happy we're never going to have to do that again. So easy. So easy. Also, you can leave us a 5-star rating and a short review on iTunes and all those other places as well. So help other people find the show. Help them get their
earballs
on the show. Again,
cool.
We needed you. We needed you last week.
Aw, I missed you guys. I did, but I didn't want to give you evil.
We do appreciate that.
We do appreciate that. I've already been sick once this year. I'm good.
Yeah, no, it's not. No.
Yeah,
didn't even lose any weight. How fucking annoying is that?
You weren't sick long enough.
It's very upsetting. When that much evil comes out of you, you should lose something.
Well, you lost the evil.
I know, but there should have been more.
Should I do that again?
Okay, well, next week is the birthday movie. As we record this, we are a week away from the Oscars. Ooh. So when the next episode drops, even though we'll be into March and you've already probably heard it, we won't have actually seen the results as of yet. So stay tuned. We will announce the winner when, I don't know, probably on our social media before you ever hear it on the podcast.
Yeah.
But if you don't hear my voice at the beginning of the podcast, something's gone horribly, horribly wrong.
What happens if there's a tie, like we had?
Sort of last year?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. Yeah, well, yeah, we had we did end it at a time.
Yeah.
But we only had to split KFC coupon that year.
Yeah, there we go.
That was easy.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Every other word.
A tie is a possibility.
I'll be hi.
Hi.
I
am
your host. Jason.
Trish.
Bishop.
Coughlin.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to figure this out.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
No, my eyes are kind of already glossing over. So
Sam was pinballing.
Yeah, we can't do that just for the sake of Sam.
Well, who's to say I won't win?
You could.
I could.
You could.
Actually, this year I actually might have a chance.
I'm glad Tyler threw the game in his prediction.
If he wins, that's just
by picking Hudson Hawk, I'll be like, how did this happen?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a bug in the Matrix. Everybody run.
Well, any last thoughts on The Mechanic? I know this is a shorter episode because, let's face it, there's not a lot to these movies.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're pretty much action fare.
No, because they're not that actiony.
No,
No.
And the first one isn't that mindless. The second one is.
There's so little dialogue in that first one as well, which is probably a good thing because nobody can fucking act.
True. I don't know. If you want to find a movie with an assassin as the protagonist and you're actually kind of rooting for him, watch Grosse Pointe Blank. It's pretty enjoyable.
Yeah. And hey, you got 2 John Wick movies that are
absolutely
fucking killer.
John Wick, love John Wick. Yeah, watch them and then watch them again because you should.
Exactly. Okay, well, I have been your lead assassin, Jason Bishop.
I'm always Sam. Psycho Killer, qu'est-ce que c'est?
Psycho Killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? And I'm Trish, and I just do it for the fun of it.
And we are out of here.
Thinking about what you were saying the other night, and I want to know what you know. Go online. It's all on the internet. But I don't want to read it. I want to do it. Do what exactly? I know about you. And him. He was your mentor. He chose you over me, and you owe me now. Go home, Steve.